varieties that are adapted to the British Columbia climate. Over the past 20 years, the world has lost over 3,000 varieties of vegetables to major corporations like Monsanto. They buy up the smaller seed companies and put them out of business, and then they have the only seeds on the market. To feed the world, we need to maintain our genetic diversity. We don't need to replace the diverse foods that we already have with GMOs. And above all, we don't need a few major world corporations like Monsanto controlling our food supply. On our farm we grow heirloom tomatoes, 6 varieties. A commercial tomato today, after 50 years of monoculture on the same soils with nothing but NPK fertilizers, has twice as much starch and water as a tomato grown 50 years ago, and half as much nutrients, vitamins, and minerals. So it's not much wonder people are getting obese, and we have more diseases, more cancers, more prostate cancer, more lymphoma diseases, because it's those antioxidants and minerals and vitamins in our food that is missing that helps keep disease at bay. Tomatoes need compost, not chemicals. I want to tell you about GMOs feeding the world. We've heard that. Well, GMOs are designed to kill weeds, not feed the world. They kill weeds with poisons like Roundup and 2,4-D, and that's all. It is scientifically impossible to produce more food with minerals that no longer exist in the depleted soils they're growing our foods upon. And what we're consuming GMO grown food today is the equivalent of sitting down with a chemical cocktail of herbicides and pesticides. And that's what we don't want in our food. We grow alfalfa, and I want to talk about that specifically for a moment. Without corn, because most of the cattle corn is GMO, alfalfa is the only high-protein food left for organic beef and organic dairy and milk. BC ranchers have got an opportunity right now to expand their operations growing grass-fed beef through the interior, especially with the pine trees dying down and new grasslands being created. When alfalfa is planted and watered, it grows so thick it snuffs out the weeds. You don't need to put poisons on it. And BC farmers and ranchers are telling Monsanto, we don't want your GMO alfalfa, and we're not going to grow your GMO alfalfa. Sadly, on our farm we do not grow corn. All the corn in BC has been compromised with the GMO corn for dairy. Word out of Mexico today is a Mexican judge has banned GMO corn in Mexico. There has been a major battle of the farmers and the indigenous people of Mexico to protect the corn varieties of Mexico. This is where corn was born. There are thousands of indigenous varieties of corn that are threatened with compromise when GMO corn is grown in Mexico. And the Mexicans are making a major stand against Monsanto, and this brave judge has told them no GMO in Mexico. We need to get off of the GMO merry-go-round. However, we need to become immune to Roundup. So what are they doing? Instead of putting compost and manures and natural fertilizer on the soil, they're now designing GMO crops to use 2,4-D. For those of you who don't know it, 2,4-D is one of the chemicals that makes up Agent Orange. And the United States used Agent Orange as a defoliant in the Vietnam War. Veterans in the United States today have successfully sued Monsanto because of the high incidence of cancer caused by those soldiers who were fighting a war in the area where 2,4-D and 2,5-T were dropped. like Nate napalm, to destroy the foliage of Vietnam. If 2,4-D is not good enough for Vietnam soldiers, who on earth in the world thinks it's good enough for the rest of us? And after they have developed GMOs using 2,4-D, what are they going to do next? Because they need stronger and stronger poisons to kill the weeds. The only other thing they've got in their arsenal is 2,4,5-T, the other chemical agent in Agent Orange. If we're going to feed the world, the best way is to provide GMO-free seed and land for small farmers. And some of you are doing that. I've been talking to people here today. People are going out and going back to the land. We need to get small farms back into production. We produced 42% of the food in North America from victory gardens, and we can do it again. The United Nations has told us this. It is the small farms, not the GMOs, that will feed the world. Five years ago, we met with a group of United Nations officials in Richmond. They asked us to set up an urban farm school, and some of the people that are involved in those urban schools in the area are here today. They said they wanted Richmond and Metro Vancouver, because we had actually saved our agricultural land and we had land in the cities that you could grow food on. They said, we want you to set up a farm school and teach agriculture and how you can have urban gardening in an urban setting and help feed the world, because the cities of the world do not have access to wholesome food. Since then, Richmond, as mentioned earlier, has banned GMOs. We also banned cosmetic pesticides. We have set up North America's first farm school, and we've provided incubator farms for the graduates so they can hone their skills in urban agriculture. And we are taking that one step further. Metro Vancouver has embarked upon a program of collecting yard waste for compost. In Richmond next year, we'll be doing some experiments on Richmond farms to use that yard waste and compost we're collecting through the metropolitan region on farms to grow food once again. Compost for fertilizer, not GMO chemicals. And Metro Vancouver will be expanding that program to Colony Farm in Coquitlam. In closing, I have a few words of my own and then a quote to give you. We will stop Monsanto. And everyone can help. Join the food revolution. Plant a victory garden. Save your own seed. Buy local food. Shop at the farmer's market. The more people that buy local, the more farmers that will sell local. To you is a message from Vandana Shiva. Some of you may have seen her. She went on the internet last night with a worldwide message to the marchers against Monsanto today. And I want to sum up what she said with a very brief statement. She says, you are marching because you care for life on earth, for biodiversity, for our seeds and the freedom of the seeds, for your own freedom to be able to grow the seeds that you have saved, or to eat food where you know how it grew. Was it GMO or not? Was it chemically produced or not? Locally produced or not? These fundamental freedoms of choosing how we live have become the center of the contest between freedom of the people and freedom of the corporations like Monsanto. Let us march with all our strength against Monsanto for freedom, for life, for the future.
Thanks, Harold. The next, we are running a little bit over time.